Ever wonder what could happen if, like, a simple act of kindness led to some crazy fortune? And what kind of price tag might come with that luck? Welcome to the 139th Deep Dive into Iranian Things. I'm Kiyumars.
And I'm Tanaz. Glad to be here.
On Iranian Things, we get into those hidden gems of Iranian culture, right? The folklore, the myths, even those cryptozoology stories that pop up sometimes.
And today we've got this really fascinating story, one that's been told and retold over generations. It's packed with morals and symbolism, all that good stuff that makes folklore stick around.
Totally. We're diving into a classic Persian tale. A young man acts of pure generosity, a magical object, and then, whoa, the fallout from both good deeds and some serious betrayal.
So with this deep dive, we're not just going to tell the story. We want to get to the heart of it, unpack the lessons and those cultural bits woven into it, just for you listening in. What can these old themes tell us today? That's what we're after.
Okay, Tenaz, let's break it down. Our story starts with Bahram, a young guy, son of a silk merchant in Yazd. Sadly, he loses his dad young, putting a lot on his mom's shoulders.
Yazd itself is important here. It's known for silk production, like way back. So Bahram's family trade super tied to that region's identity. And the story really highlights all his mom did to raise him right, a good, respectful son. That upbringing, it's key to understanding everything he does later on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So Bahram's an adult now. His mom, not rich by any means. She's got two valuable things, a silver samovar and their humble home. She shows how much she believes in him, sells that samovar in the market, gets 300 dirhams.
Wow.
She gives Bahram 100, hoping he can buy some silk cocoons, carry on the family business.
That samovar selling it's a big deal. In Iranian culture, it symbolizes warmth, family, being together. So it wasn't just about the money, it was a piece of their life she let go of. You can feel her wanting him to succeed in this act.
For sure. So Bahram takes those 100 dirhams, heads to the market. But before he even gets to the silk, he sees something disturbing. 3 young guys roughing up a sack. You can hear something inside, an animal clearly in distress.
This is it, right? This shows who Bahram is deep down. His business.
Yeah.
Not even started yet. But his first thought, help someone suffering. No hesitation, real compassion there.
Exactly. Bahram goes up to them and asks, "Why are you doing this?" The guys, they're cold about it. Then they see a chance. Demand 100 dirhams. Bahram's got to let the animal go. Makes you think, right? How compassion can be twisted.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Like, kindness suddenly has a price tag, a real moral dilemma right off the bat. Bahram's got to choose his practical needs or his heart. He goes with his heart, giving up his livelihood for a creature in pain. That has said it all about his values. Like, maybe kindness is its own currency for him.
Without a second thought, he pays. They open the sack, and out pops a cat. Now get this. The cat looks at Bahram, speaks perfectly clear. Kindness is never forgotten. And poof, it's gone.
Whoa, a talking cat. We're not in a regular story anymore, are we? We're in folklore land now, where everyday stuff mixes with the magical. Animals in these stories, they often mean something, like messengers or guides. The cat's words? First big hint of the theme here. Kindness matters. It sticks around.
It does. Bahram goes home, no money, tells his mom everything. Now, you'd expect a lecture, right? But no, the next morning, she blows his mind. Another 100 dirhams. Go buy that silk, she says. She must have seen something in his actions, right?
Totally. She trusts her son, maybe even believes in this idea that good actions have consequences. She may not get the talking cat thing, but she sees Bahram's sincerity, gives him another shot, reinforces what she taught him. It's powerful, that maternal faith.
Off Bahram goes, second time to the market. But on the way, another awful scene. Kids messing with a dog, gonna hang it. Again, Bahram steps in. He just can't ignore suffering. It's who he is, right?
It is. It's like his defining trait. He's not just passively nice. He's actively out there stopping bad stuff, even if it costs him. This is why the magical stuff that happens later feels kind of earned, like in the folklore logic.
He begs the kids to stop, but just like before, they smell a chance to profit. 100 dirhams, they say, and they'll let the dog live. And again, even though he's broke, Bahram pays. Now free, the dog turns to him and says, "What you give with one hand, you receive with the other." Then runs off, happy as can be.
Interesting. Now we've got this idea of balance. Like, Bahram is going to be repaid for his selflessness, but how and when? It's still a mystery. These animals talking, it's not random. It feels like they're hinting at what's coming,
Right. So second time, Bahram goes home empty-handed. Tells his mom everything. This is where it gets real. Next morning, his mom, you can hear the worry in her voice. "Bahram, this is all we've got left. This 100 dirhams, please use it for yourself."
She's scared, right? Yeah, you can feel her love and her fear. She gets his good heart, but she's his mom. She wants him to be okay. It's a tough spot, right? Selfless giving versus just surviving.
Bahram takes the money, heads towards the market, but this time his mom's words are on his mind. He doesn't buy silk right away. It's getting late. He's tired, still looking. Ends up at the city's edge, decides to rest. And that's when he sees these guys carrying a heavy box. They make a fire. One of them's about to chuck the box right in. Talk about suspense.
Totally hooks you right. What's in the box? Why get rid of it like that? And knowing Bahram, you just know he's going to get involved.
Like clockwork, Bahram asks, what's in there? They say, just some colorful animal, smooth and soft. Bahram, worried now, tells him not to burn it, to open it, let it out. And you guessed it. They want his last 100 dirhams. It's like, are they always going to use him?
It's a pattern for sure. But for Bahram, it's always about saving a life. He just keeps showing that deep empathy, even when it seems crazy. This last time, using his very last bit of money, that's real dedication.
He does it. Hands over the money, takes the box, goes out to the quiet desert, opens it carefully, and whoosh! Out comes this huge snake. Bahram jumps back, scared obviously. But the snake speaks. Don't run, says. You are kind. Let's be friends. Whoa, right.
Total surprise. Snakes in stories often mean danger or temptation, but this one's an ally. It's like the story flipped our expectations. Direct result of Bahram's actions, too. This is where things get way more fantastical, kindness creating these special bonds.
Totally. Now, Bahram, he's feeling really down, spent all his money saving animals, got to go back to his mom with nothing again. This snake, it senses this, asks why he's sad. Bahram tells him everything. And then, boom, the snake drops a bombshell. His dad, the Sultan of the Snakes.
Okay.
And he's the prince. He tells Bahram, come meet my dad, tell him what you did. And when he asks what you want, ask for the Ring of Solomon. Things just got serious.
No kidding. Sultan of the Snakes, Ring of Solomon. We're in full-on myth territory now, that ring. It's legendary. In so many cultures, it means wisdom, power over spirits, huge wealth.
Oh.
This is a sign, right? Bahram's kindness is going to pay off big time.
It is. So the Snake Prince takes him to this hidden cave, the Sultan's place. Amazing, by the way. Bahram tells his story all about rescuing the prince. The Sultan, this super powerful figure, asks, what do you want in return? And Bahram, he goes for it, asks for the Ring of Solomon. Pretty gutsy, if you ask me.
It is. He could have asked for money, easy street, right then. But he wants this legendary object, shows inner strength, maybe even a sense of his own potential now.
The Sultan, he's wise, right? He warns Bahram, this ring, it can corrupt. In the wrong hands, it'll unleash chaos. Adds a whole ethical layer to getting power. It's not just about having it, it's what you do with it.
For sure. Classic folklore message. Power comes with responsibility. The ring's not all good. It's got a dark side. Sets up how Bahram needs to act,
The Snake Prince, though, he knows Bahram. Steps up. This guy's got a good heart, he says. He deserves it. The Sultan, he's convinced, gives Bahram the ring. Tells him, wear it on your right middle finger, rub the jewel with your left hand, and a servant will appear, ready to grant any wish. Simple as that.
And specific, too, right? Like a ritual. The middle finger, it's often about authority, making things happen, fitting place for a powerful object like that.
The prince goes back to his cave. Bahram, he's starving after all this, so what's he gonna do? He puts on the ring, rubs it, and boom, a servant pops up. First wish. A nice meal of shireen polo, that sweet rice dish. Granted, just like that.
Makes sense. Basic needs first. He doesn't jump to crazy wishes, shows he's grounded, even with all this new power. A moment to breathe before it all sinks in.
Bahram, full and amazed, goes home, tells his mom the news. Let's tear down this place, build a palace, he says, all excited. But his mom, so humble, she asks, can I keep our little house? Tells you something about her, right?
For sure. She's connected to her roots, happy with what she knows, not about showing off wealth. It's a good reminder, Real happiness doesn't come from stuff.
Bahram agrees, of course. Then uses the ring, wishes for a palace right next door. In a flash, it's there, decked out, servants, everything. From then on, Bahram's life changes. Fancy clothes, amazing food, rides the best horses. But amidst all this, he realizes something's missing. A wife, someone to share it with.
Makes sense. You get the basics covered, the nice stuff, then what? Human connection, love, that's what comes next. Bahram goes from wanting wealth to wanting a partner.
One day, he's riding by the ruler's palace, sees the king's daughter on a balcony brushing her hair. He's smitten instantly, goes back to his palace, tells his mom, ask the king if I can marry her. Bold move, right? He's still kind of new to all this wealth and status.
Definitely bold and ambitious, too. Marrying the king's daughter. That's not just love, that's top-tier social status. A smart move and romantic, all in one.
His mom, even in her plain clothes, she goes to the king. The guards, They don't stop her. She tells the king Bahram's request. The king, he's listening to his vizier, a real schemer. He's not thrilled about this new guy, so he comes up with a bride price meant to be impossible.
Oh, boy.
7 silver camels loaded with treasures, 7 diamond tiara jewels, the best ones, 7 jars of pure gold, and get this, 7 rugs woven from pearls, just for the princess to walk on. No way anyone can do that, right?
It's outrageous. The vizier, he's probably playing power games, wants to keep things as they are. No outsiders marrying into the royal family.
But Bahram's got the ring. His mom comes back with the news. Bahram doesn't even flinch, rubs the ring, poof, all that treasure appears, tons of it, sends it all to the king. The king, he's stunned, probably a little scared too. He has to agree to the marriage. Huge, week-long celebration. Bahram marries the princess. Easy peasy with the ring.
Wow.
But is it too easy, you think?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like he's invincible with the ring, but he's not really earning anything, just wishing for it. What happens when magic can't solve the problem? That's what makes you wonder.
Now, here's a detail that seems small, but it matters. There's this tradition for good luck, right? A pure-hearted old woman sews the bride and groom's clothes together, red thread, to ward off bad vibes. But Bahram and his wife, with all the excitement and fancy stuff, they forget all about it. Could that come back to bite them?
In these stories, missing those traditions, it means something. It's like ignoring ancient wisdom, those little things that influence fate. It's a weak spot now, in their perfect life.
Now, over in the mountains, there's this Tatar prince. He's been in love with the princess forever. When he hears about the marriage, he's furious, so jealous. He wants to know how Bahram got so rich so fast. He goes to this crafty old woman, known for being, well, sneaky and manipulative. This is where the trouble really starts.
Envy, that's a dangerous one. The Tatar prince, textbook case, and this old woman. Sounds like she's going to cause some serious problems.
The prince tells her, get into that palace. Find out Bahram's secret. She travels to the city, finds Bahram's fancy place. Bahram's not there, so she knocks. A servant girl answers. The old woman, she pretends to be poor, weak, says she needs help, a place to stay. Super manipulative.
Yeah, classic trick, right? Act helpless, get people to feel sorry for you, works in palaces all the time. But she's not what she seems.
Bahram's wife, she's kind, but maybe a little naive. She lets the old woman in, tells her she can stay as long as she needs, and just like that, the old woman starts working her magic, Flattery, fake sympathy, gets the queen to trust her. Crazy how easy that can be.
It is. Shows why you gotta be careful. Kindness is good, but you gotta be smart too, especially with strangers. The old woman, she's playing the long game, and the queen's innocence makes her an easy target.
One day, the old woman starts planting these ideas in the queen's head, A wife should know her husband's secrets, she says, especially where the money comes from. Hints that men are fickle, their luck can change. That night, the queen, she's doubting now, asks Bahram about his wealth. He's hurt, kind of mad. Can you blame him?
Nope. He's got every right to be. He gave her everything, and now she's suspicious. Feels like betrayal. That's doubt for you, especially when someone's whispering in your ear.
But the queen starts crying. Bahram's heart melts. He caves. Tells her about the Ring of Solomon. Even shows her where he hides it. Big mistake, huh?
Huge one. He loves her, wants to make her feel better, but he exposed his weakness. He doesn't realize how dangerous the old woman is.
Next day, the old woman, she's got what she wants. Gets all the details about the ring's hiding place out of the queen. She's good. Really good. Took advantage of everyone's trust.
She's a pro at using people, right? The queen trusts her. Bahram spilt the beans and she cashes in. Shows how misplaced trust can backfire.
A few days later, the old woman sees her chance. She steals the ring, vanishes, goes straight to the Tatar prince, hands it over, gets paid a ton of silver, as much as she weighs. That's what betrayal gets you.
Wow. That payment shows how badly the prince wanted that ring. He thinks he's got all the power now, and how much he hates Bahram.
The prince, he puts on the ring, rubs it, the servant appears. And his wish, pure revenge. He says, I want the king's daughter to be my wife, and I want Bahram to be back to how he was before, nobody. Talk about spite.
Yeah, this shows what envy does to you. He doesn't want to create anything good, just ruin someone else's life. The ring, it's like a magnifier for all that negativity. Remember what the Sultan said, the ring can be dangerous.
And just like that, the wish comes true. Bahram's palace. Gone. Furniture, servants, everything. The princess, she's back with the prince, heartbroken, crying for Bahram. Bahram himself. He was out riding, and suddenly his horse, his friends, they all disappear. He's alone in the desert, back in his regular clothes. Poof, just like that.
Brutal, right. Instant karma from the ring. Everything Bahram got, gone in a second. Shows you're relying on magic. It can be shaky ground.
Bahram, totally lost, goes back to where his palace was. Nothing there, just his mom's little clay house. That's when it hits him. The ring's been stolen. His mom, though, even with all this happening, she's strong. What the wind brings, the wind takes away, she says. Then she gives him her last bit of money. Go buy some silk, she says. Rebuild your dad's business the honest way.
She's amazing. She knows that easy come, easy go wealth. It's not real. Better to work for it, build something solid. Back to basics. No magic shortcuts.
Bahram, he's devastated, but he listens. Next day, goes to the city looking for silk merchants. But it's like everyone's vanished. No silk anywhere. He's tired, giving up hope. It's evening. He sits down by the city wall, just crushed. And guess who shows up? The cat, the dog, and the snake. The ones he saved. They see he's hurting, ask him what's wrong. This is where things turn around, right?
It's like poetry, right? He helped them, no strings attached, and now, when he's at his lowest, they come back. Kindness always comes back around, in some way.
Bahram, he tells them everything about the ring, how he's lost it all. The cat and the dog, they're like, we got to help this guy. They start asking around the other animals in the city. Where's Bahram's wife? Who's this new enemy? Birds talking, other animals whispering. They find out it was that old woman working for the prince who stole the ring. It's like the whole animal kingdom's on his side.
It's like Bahram built this network without even realizing it, just by being kind. The animals, they become this force for good, using their knowledge, their skills to set things right.
The cat and the dog, they head out to the Tatar city, find the prince's palace. The cat says, I'll sneak in, find Bahram's wife, ask about the ring, you wait here. The cat gets in, finds the queen. She realizes the cat's from Bahram, tells him, the prince, he never takes the ring off. He even sleeps with it in his mouth. Strange, but important.
Right. Yeah, that's a tough one. How do you steal a ring from someone's mouth while they're asleep? Shows how obsessed the prince is with power, too, never letting it go.
Yeah.
Sets up something clever's got to happen.
The cat zips back to the dog, tells him what's up. The dog, loyal and smart, he's got a plan. That night, while the prince is sleeping, the cat sneaks into the kitchen and catches a mouse. Help us, he says to the mouse, and you're free. The mouse agrees. The cat tells him, dip your tail in that black pepper. The mouse does it, his little tail all covered in spice. Then, following the cat's lead, he crawls into the prince's bedroom. Risky move.
Super inventive. Using the animal's natural instincts, figuring out how the prince will react, it's teamwork, showing even the smallest creature can be important.
The mouse does what the cat says, climbs onto the sleeping prince, tickles his nose with that pepper tail. The prince sneezes. Huge sneeze, the ring flies out of his mouth. The cat, quick as a flash, grabs it, drops it out the window to the dog. Teamwork makes the dream work, huh?
Absolutely. Brave, clever, and loyal, all because Bahram was kind to them.
The dog takes off, back to the forest, back to Bahram. Bahram's overjoyed, puts the ring back on, rubs it, calls the servant, give me back my palace, my wife, everything, he says. And just like that, it's all back. Everything's right again.
The ring's power, it's instant, right? Bahram's back on top, but this time, it's because of those he helped. It's like he earned it this time.
Bahram and his wife, they learned their lesson. They have another wedding ceremony, do everything right this time, the red thread and all. Then Bahram does something really smart. He takes the Ring of Solomon, throws it into the deepest part of the ocean. No one can misuse it anymore. That's growth.
It is. He realized how dangerous that ring is. He could have kept it, but he chose to protect everyone, even though it meant giving up ultimate power. That's real responsibility, knowing when to let go.
So what does this whole story tell us? Kindness matters, even small acts. Envy and ambition can ruin you. Loyalty is powerful, and unexpected friends can be the best kind. Don't trust blindly. And don't forget those old traditions, they're there for a reason. These ideas, they're old, but they still apply to us today, right?
Definitely. And all those symbols, they add so much. Think about those animals Bahram saved. The cat, independent, the dog, loyal, the snake, changing and powerful. And that ring, it's about power, both good and bad. Then you've got the animals, selfless, versus that old woman and the prince, all about themselves. What do you see in those symbols? How do they connect to your life, your own way of seeing things?
We hope you loved this dive into Iranian folklore. If you did, hit that subscribe button for more Iranian things, leave a comment, let us know what you think, and give this deep dive a like. It really helps us bring you more of these awesome stories.
And if you're hooked on Iranian culture, check out our playlist. Tons more deep dives there waiting for you.
Last thought for you to think about. Bahram got rid of the ring, right? But did he really erase its power? Or could it come back, found by someone else, someone with bad intentions? What does that say about power? Can it ever truly disappear? Think about that.